Hare Krishna. So let us begin, because we've come together, let us begin with Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha to ourselves, and then Om Gyan to Guru, then Namo Mahaviranyaya. Because first, when we meet each other, we do want to give our proper obeisances. All right, so with obeisances, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We've missed out one verse, no? Oh, Om Agyan to Guru. To Guru we should have done before Mahaprabhu. It's all right. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Anmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We did say that twice. Namo Mahaviranyaya Krishna Prema Prarayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tujay Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. There, Namabas means without proper attention, chanting the names without proper attention, without giving focus to the chanting of the names. So there I was with Namabas, obeisances abas, with our mind going another place, and our tongue continuing in autopilot. We know. Hare Krishna. So Varun, welcome also. Varun, a regular attendee now. Welcome. So I seem to have been talking a lot over the period of Christmas. But happily talking, because we've been with devotees, and devotees here and family devotees here, not my family, but family of devotees. I mean, not my, okay, we're talking about families, mother, father, brothers, sisters, families of devotees who are here. And so in person and in person over the internet, but we've been talking a lot the last couple of days or more, but the last couple of days about Christmas, I suppose, because it was Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, and now is the day after Christmas Day, which I think is a holiday, especially when it's Sunday. It's a holiday, I'm pretty sure, in Europe too. So, but in America, the sun is still shining, possibly. In California, somebody share something with us. And should we ask? We should ask first Kum Kum Devinasi, because we're always pleased to have any excuse to hear from her, because really such rare association to have in the world, as Goswami Maharaj says, the trifactor, those who have got the blessing of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. So Kum Kum Devinasi, please let us hear from you something for fuel for our fire. Don't forget, some of us, we are waking up in the morning, some of us in the middle of the night, and some of us it's the day running. So, Kum Kum Devinasi.
My Dandavat Pranam to all the Vaishnavas. And one thing that comes to mind is I so much appreciate how many times you say Vanchakalpa Tarubhyas, Om Jnana Timirandasya, because I didn't realize until I heard you saying it that I say it Unmilitam Jena. I pronounce it like the only language I ever learned besides English is French. And I mispronounce Unmilitam Jena. So I really appreciate, if you think it's a mistake, I don't take it like that. It's a additional assistance that I need. Unmilitam Jena. not the way I pronounce it, as if it were a French word.
Aha, okay.
So we may get a bad habit early on and not realize that we're maintaining a bad habit. So for all things large and small, we're very dependent on the association of devotees.
Jai.
Also, today, I always think the most of Amona Durmati. These words remind me the most of what they try to instill in us to be happy on this Christmas day, talking of the Lord accepting us as fallen, accepting us as sinful, but the good news, the glad tidings are that nevertheless we are fully embraced by our guardians. And we're so grateful that we truly feel that. It isn't just some pretty song, but I was also reading then in Prapana Jivanamrita on this principle of, full embracing the Lord's guardianship. And this also describes very sweetly, for the disturbed soul who is flogged by his 6 enemies, only the shelter of the lotus feet of his natural master awards him immortality in fearlessness and sorrowlessness. O Supreme Soul, for time immemorial in this material world, I have been tormented with sin, stung with remorse, and constantly harassed by my 6 insatiable enemies, the 5 senses and the mind. O gracious warder of shelter, somehow I have come before your holy lotus feet, which are the embodiment of fearlessness, sorrowlessness, and positive immortality. My master, please protect this one distressed.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So now we've heard it. What shall we do about it, Kumkum?
For me, it's a matter of meditating on the broad and deep substance that we've been given as from the Vaishnavas, and adhering closely to those practices, because what was formerly in our childhood was words and was pretty, and at least one short time of the year we would feel some hope that indeed we would be protected. Otherwise, we would be so baffled by seeing our own sins and seeing our enemies, the senses and the mind, carrying us away, not knowing what to do. But this actual deep, solid substance that we have from the Vaishnavas, and they've given us so many practices where we don't have to feel that we're not really standing on something, that it is actually very solid. And in this way, we'll begin to believe it all the time, that we can embrace the Lord's guardianship.
Jai. And about solid, Guru Maharaj very nicely uses the word concrete, because we have this in our vocabulary in the present time and for a long time. I mean, concrete, something is a concrete fact, it's a very solid fact. But Guru Maharaj is saying that the materialists, they accuse us that we are chasing after phantasmagoria, like a fantasy.
Yeah.
And that their world is concrete. But we say the opposite. You are chasing after phantasmagoria. Mm-hmm. Even though you're in the physical, you can see all the physical things. And what we are doing, this is concrete. This is concrete reality and the concrete research and journey. So we may not see, but just because we don't see, it does not mean it's not real. So yes, wonderful. And in the meantime, welcome to Rupanuga Prabhu in Australia, in the afternoon in Australia, and to Paramananda Prabhu in his motor car in Bangkok, not in Govinda Farm at this time, in Bangkok for duties. So welcome to you both, and to Chintamani Devi Rasi. Welcome from probably California. So they've joined us just in the last few minutes. Yes, Govinda, Govinda. Hare Krishna, always on the move. Oh, and here's also Krishna Priya Devi Rasi. We just got a glimpse. Aha, so you're in car number 2. You're in Krishna Priya Devi Rasi's car today in Bangkok. Paramananda is there in Bangkok. And Ivan, welcome. Ivan is with us on Facebook. And he's experiencing, he's here in Italy, but he's experiencing firsthand, seeing the sudden reverses that can take place at any moment in this world, because his elderly mum, she fell down and she broke some bones, unfortunately, just very soon before Christmas, not the day before, but a few days before. So he flew out to be with his mum. But you see, this world is like that. One moment we're thinking, oh, everything, it is concrete, in concrete, this is going to last forever. And the next moment, and especially when it happens to the near and dear ones of us, especially when that happens, then it does kind of bring it home to us that we live in a terrible world where everything is going to be consumed by some suffering, by leaving the body. And as Guru Maharaj says, going to somewhere where we do not know where. We don't even know where we go after this door of this chapter of our life closes and the new door for the new chapter of our life will open. So let's come out from this suffering world and come to joy. Let's come out from the temporary world and come to eternity. So Ivan, good to have you with us indeed. All right, on the Christmas theme, we're coming to hear from each of you, and Kumkum Didi, thank you very much. And also, these 6 enemies given in Sri Sri Prabhupada Jivanamritam and elsewhere, Guru Maharaj is quoting from the scripture. That's another thing, that in this material world, generally, the 6 enemies, they are glorified as like 6 good qualities and 6 good things to have. So, you know, we see this all the time in, well, I don't see it all the time, but we do see it all the time, you know, in the material world where ego and all these things are, yes, ego, very good. Boost up your self-esteem, be strong in this and that. Be assertive. Hare Krishna. So we get also new vision by the grace of our Sri Guru Vaga. Yes, Christmas time, Praneshwari Devi Rasi. This is family time, we can say. Gurudev saw it, Gurudev appreciated it, and Gurudev also gave credit for, credit, he acknowledged, yes, this custom, this tradition, it is good tradition, and giving, accepting gifts, etc. But we must do everything in Krishna consciousness as we are devotees, and not get sidelined or swayed by what's expected of drinking wine and eating turkey. How did that come about? How did that come about? I've got no idea. But anyway, family time, and Praneshwari Devi Rasi, she's a family lady for all of us, looking after the family of the devotees all over the world in different ways through coordinating Zooms and translation, etc. And she, forgive me if I've met and don't know your other children, but we know she's got one child who's no longer a child, but to mother, the child is always a child. Mahamantra Prabhu, an exemplary, sweet, tall devotee who is my side by side in the office, the Navadip office, for in some time and very good-hearted soul, and now himself married with one daughter living in Spain at the moment. So Praneshri Devirasi, please give us some Krishna conscious Christmas reflections.
Maharaj, most of you are already on December 26th, but some of us are still on Christmas Day on the 25th. So please check the chat. Check the chat.
So check the chat. Oh, check the chat. Okay, well, would you like to read us what you've put in the chat? And Chintamani, by the way, in the chat says, I definitely... Oh, okay, okay, Chintamani Devi, I won't read all the chat.
No.
Okay, Praneshwari, read your chat kindly.
Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj on his veranda in Navadip, he explains that he is very much attracted with the character of Lord Jesus because humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, nobody can do that, but he has done. Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Dev said that this is the best policy to attract our God, Lord Krishna. We are telling Krishna and they are telling God. So there is the link to the talk, to the audio. So please save it and listen to it because it's extremely sweet, really sweet.
It is extremely sweet and quite short, I believe. I seem to remember. We listened to this together in the temple yesterday morning. I think it was 14 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, the talk, because we have
really short.
We have a slot in the morning program, which is gently informal, means we try to have some variety, and we listened yesterday. Wonderful Gurudev, and we also remember Gurudev being in happy mood on Christmas Day, helped by the Western devotees' enthusiasm about keeping up the Western tradition of Christmas, decorations and Christmas cake and extra goodies. Yes, Praneshri, please continue.
No, I just wanted to share this because it's part of the Western culture. Even though most of us were raised as in Christianity, in Catholicism, we grew up with all these, let's say, festivities, and it was just like common. It was normal. So devotees still have a little bit of attachment to those celebrations, to the exchange of gifts. So it's absolutely normal. And Srila Gurudev, he was so open and accepted us. So it's some devotees say, no, but I am ashamed to say in public, Merry Christmas. I said, you don't have to be ashamed. It's normal. You can say it. It's okay. It's acceptable. All of us were raised in the Western world with Christmas, with the Christmas tree and with the exchange of gifts. And for children, also for Bhakti Yoga for kids, it is a festivity specially dedicated to children. So we took a break until January 8th, because all the kids are engaged in their toys and their games and their gifts. But we have our dear Paramananda Prabhu here, and he can tell us something good for us.
You are also telling us something good, and yes, he can also tell us something good, no doubt. You mentioned you're taking a break for the children, but yesterday we were remembering how Ashram Maharaj, he runs and has run the summer festival, a summer festival every year in Mexico, in different places in Mexico each year. but he's run a summer festival for many years. And then the devotees, they said, Maharaj, we also have a holiday at Christmas time, Christmas and New Year. Can we also have a festival in the winter for the devotees to come together? Because the festival means they rent a place or arrange a place, and from all over Mexico and from America and different places, then devotees, they come, they stay, they have a, like living in the temple, they have a festival program for maybe 10 days. And at first Ashram Maharaj said, I don't think it's going to work because Mexico, it's a very Catholic country, very Christian country, and a very family style, centered tradition for Christmas. Okay, you are insisting, and one or two others said, yes, Maharaj, we'll participate. So he started, but then he was surprised that so many came, and I was there for 2. And I remember on one particular, just on a day, I think it was New Year's Day actually itself, I asked Ashram Maharaj, who's very meticulous, by the way, and always has been ever since I've known him, in keeping like notes and writing everything down. And when he do collection in India, he would write down meticulously the names of the people he met, how much they gave, the address, so that next year they can go back. And I saw that he'd arranged, he wasn't doing it himself, but somebody was keeping the names, addresses, whatever it is for all of the participants. And on New Year's Day, there were 108 who were residing, not just visiting, but staying there for the festival. And I thought, oh, this is a very good number. 108 on New Year's Day. And his feedback was that the devotees, yes, family, but the family is devotees. So they'll give some, acknowledgement with their own family and this, that, and the other, but they actually want to be with devotees. So they come together and have their devotee family union. And that has been going on then year by year by year. Happily,
Yes.
and I was happily in Morelia for one of those Christmas programs, winter Vaishnava festival programs, and in Tijuana for 1 year also, within the last few years, very happily seeing their example.
Yes, he gives a Chaitanya Charitamrita class every morning, and yesterday the class was from the airport because he was flying from Merida to Mexico City to go to this kids program.
In Mexico City?
No, I think it's in Yucatan, but he had to fly first to Mexico City and then go there.
Ah, okay.
Very simple winter program for the children.
Jai, very good.
Maharaj,
Yes.
please check the chat. You have a question from Natush?
Check the chat, okay, but Paramanand Prabhu, please
Yes.
Paramanand Prabhu, please you hear the question also if it's suitable, because we'd like to hear from you. Perhaps this question's from you, have not read it. It's Nahush, our dear friend Nahush. He's asking, I have heard that Jesus lived in Jagannath Puri in his missing years, in quotes. In the monastery priestly order, do you know more about this? That's one question. And also from Nahush, a second question. I wanted to know how a devotee can develop the 26 devotional qualities as it is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I think 26, okay. Paramanand Prabhu, there we are, 2 separate questions.
Well, both of them are rather simple questions, Maharaj. So simple questions asking for very simple answers. I have to say, I have no idea about the culture of Christmas. I grew up in the Soviet Union, where Christmas was illegal. And when I joined Hare Krishna movement, for me it was Christmas. So we celebrated everything in relation to Krishna. But here is a good point. For everything, we need a proper adjustment of our vision. How do you get that adjustment? Again, the beginning of our meeting, and I came a little bit late, but I caught the tail of what Kumkum Didi was reading and Maharaj was saying. For everything, we need a proper vision. And how do we get it? Approaching the one who has the proper vision, who can tell us what is what. So again, the Vaishnava principle, Guru principle, and I'm not sure what Kumkum Didi was quoting, but it sounded like one of the songs we sing every morning. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Abhimanasa. And then it said, Supatha Vipatha Nahi Jani. Myself, I'm overcome by those 6 urges. And I have no idea what is the right path, what is the wrong path. So please, oh dear Vaishnava, tell me where to go, in which direction we have to move. So either Jesus went to Jagannath Puri or Kashmir or any other places, everything is possible. It was a very long time ago. But our teachers asked us to rather focus on the internal message of someone who represents any aspect of God. What did they came to give? That is the main part. Wherever they went, it's a secondary. And like again, it was too long ago and everything is possible. So for a devotee of Krishna, so we have to see it from a perspective of our teachings of our Guru Varga. What was the contribution of the Jesus? And as far as we can see, what we hear from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, again, self-sacrifice, giving everything. And Srila Guru Maharaj also draws the parallels between Vasudev Datta, who approached Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu was in the mood of giving blessings in Puri before all the devotees were going back to Navadvip. Vasudev Datta approached him and said, I don't have any desire other than, please, can you save all the sinners of this world and let me suffer for them, for their sins. I can take that responsibility, no matter how great it is, but you please save them. They're suffering so much. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. Again, Supadha Vipatha Nahi Jani. Like Maharaj said, for them, six bad qualities, 6 destructive urges are nectar, something they aspire for. For a devotee, it's a deadly thing. There's a saying in the Vedas, Shinvanta Vishva Amritasya Putram, where all the children of the nectar, the ocean of nectar, we all came from that ocean. But depending on the faith and degree of understanding, for someone, that ocean of nectar is, again, filled with those urges. And they're swimming in that ocean and thinking they're swimming in the ocean of nectar. For the devotees, it's something opposite, like Srila Rupa Goswami says. When he says that we're swept by the tide of hallucination in the great vast ocean of frustration. Devotees swept, when they're in this world, they're thinking, oh my God, we're suffering so much, we're overcome. Without the grace of the devotee, without the grace of the Lord, we're going to drown in this ocean, the ocean that others who have no faith think it's the ocean of nectar. So a proper perspective. So seeing Jesus from the proper perspective, what is his contribution to this world? Self-sacrifice, humility, tolerance, all those principles can be found in his teaching and his personal example. But like everything else in the world, it's been misused, used for other purposes, politicized, etc., etc., etc. So main focus should be on his ideals that he upheld. And about the devotional qualities, how do we develop that? By associating with ones who possess them. And that will be a spiritual master, Vaishnavas. If we just follow whatever they ask of us, if we just try to basically just follow their advice, nothing, serve them, you will acquire those qualities naturally. You don't have to force it. You don't have to study it. There is no time limit. It can happen in a second, in a split of a moment, or it can happen after billions of life. Really, it depends on the degree of our hankering. So understanding our dire position of this world is also important. Otherwise, we will be thinking in the sea of frustration. We're swimming in the sea of frustration and thinking we're in the ocean of nectar. So proper perspective on everything and everyone. And again, coming to us by the grace of our Guru Varga. That is my little contribution and answer.
Your deep contribution and answer.
Jai. Yes, Paramanand. Aha. Okay, Praneshri beat me to it. I was looking up the 26 qualities. Now I've just come back to the Zoom window, but I was hearing you, Paramanandru. And now I've come back to the Zoom window, and here's Praneshri. She's already posted the 26 qualities, because I was interested to read them for our own purification too. But yes, I give the ditto marks to what Paramanandru was saying, that yes, all of this is so. Proper devotional mood, the proper view of the environment, and this is Guru Maharaj's, like you can say in one sense, speciality, to get us to see the proper way to read the environment is number one. And association with devotees, we always hear, is the necessity. And association comes in different ways, but as far as possible to associate in a living way with the devotees. And this way we can also clarify, like you are doing, clarify when we are alone or when we're just with one or two and we're reading the books. Sometimes we come across things which we need to clarify. However, there are so many things which we just can't understand, we just have to accept. But this practical question, and to want to have the devotional qualities, that's also a very good sign. And the practical question of how to get the devotional qualities when we become hungry for them, this is a very relevant question. And yes, about Jesus, I can also say that there are devotees who've come from the Christian background who've written books about this and essays and various things. And I remember maybe not reading every word, but glancing over some of these in early days. This is back in the 80s. And basically at the end of the day, whether Jesus went to India or not, he's giving us the foundation, the basis of what is Vaishnavism, as Guru Maharaj does explain. And Gurudev is saying that what Jesus gave is very similar to Christianity. Maybe Guru Maharaj also saying that in that chapter in the Search for Sri Krishna. Sorry, what Jesus gave is very similar to Vaishnavism, but it's somewhat hazy. He's not given a description of the appearance of the Lord beyond a general description that he made man in his own form, etc. So it is quite likely that he went to India, but we're not even going to say, yes, he went or no, he didn't go, because it doesn't really matter. And we do know in the sense of whether he did or didn't, let's hear his message. And we know, as with everything, there's a certain section who are like very much, oh, he went, and there's a certain section who are very much, no, he didn't go, where he went was somewhere else. It's history. Quite some things are quite hazy in the history of Jesus also. But when we were in India, then I was surprised to find there's a cave which is known as Jesus's cave near Rishikesh, in the forest, the hilly forest near Rishikesh. And I asked the local people, so when was this? When was this identified? How did it become to be known as Jesus's cave? And one of the local people who we'd hoped would be a guide for one of our pilgrimages, anyway, one of the local people said, no, forever. This is not something recently that somebody started up to try to, and it's not even like a big place for pilgrimage or something, but it's a place known as Jesus's cave. Then, whether he went or not, others may debate it. But he brought that message, the message of self-surrender and humility, tolerance, turning the other cheek, all of these things, and many things Jesus said. And I heard from our dear Mahayogi Prabhu recently, he is saying, And I don't know if I even remembered hearing it when I was a child, but he said, don't look at the splinter, I think he said this, a splinter in others' eyes, in the eye, in other words, don't look at some small fault in others, look at the big log beam of wood, the log of wood that's in your own eye. Maybe some of you who attended your Sunday school classes better than I did, maybe some of you can give us the proper quote. But this way, and Jesus saying, turn the other cheek, when somebody slaps you on one cheek, then turn the other cheek. Many things which we do remember from our limited attendance or limited, at least mental attendance in the classes we went to. And I was reflecting yesterday with the devotees and their families here yesterday about, I don't remember getting inspired by any sermon in going to the church or going to the children's Sunday school program. It was like, doesn't relate somehow. But anyway, that was me. But coming to Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada, coming through somebody who's living a devotional life, and again, coming through that kind of a person, then, oh yes, this is what it's all about. But this is my own experience. So I think somebody else should make some sound, because I keep making too much sound. So who would like to read the 26 qualities of a devotee listed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Let us hear from Rupanuga Prabhu, because today he's not driving in his car and he's giving us his full attention, I can see. So let us hear from Rupanuga Prabhu kindly, if you're happy to do so. And when I mentioned your name, you closed your video. Oh no, is this a sign? Okay.
Only so I can read it, Raj.
All right,
I'll have a look now.
Okay, and Rupanuga, try to understand them as you read them, because when you understand them, then we will understand them.
These qualities of a devotee, 26 in number, are listed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 1, be kind to everyone. 2, do not quarrel with anyone. 3, be fixed in the absolute truth. See yourself as equal to everyone. Number 4. Number 5, be faultless. Number 6, be charitable. Number 7, be mild. Number 8, be clean. Number 9, be simple without material possessions. Number 10, be benevolent. Number 11, remain peaceful. Number 12, be completely attached to Krishna. Number 13, have no material desires or hankering. Number 14, be meek. Number 15, be steady. 16, be controlled. Number 17, do not eat more than required. Number 18, stay sane. 19, be respectful. Number 20, be humble. Number 21, be grave. I guess that means be serious about matters. Number 22, be compassionate. 23, be friendly. Number 24, be poetic. And number 25, be silent. And number 26, which I need your advice on, is be expert. I'm not sure about that one, but that's how it's written. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Rupanuga Prabhu. And slowly and deliberately delivered to us. And being expert. Okay, I can think of Srila Gurudev in this regard. Because Gurudev, anything he did, he wanted it done properly. So everything he did, then he became expert, and he became expert in printing, in the what typeface to use, means what style of the letters. He became expert in building. When building the temples, he became expert in agriculture. He put his heart into everything. So we'll try to be expert as devotees. We'll try that whatever savor is coming to us, we'll give our whole heart for it and be expert, as opposed to amateur. I mean, amateur has another implication, that it means, oh, they may be very good, but they're not getting paid. But amateuristic means like fumbling along in doing something that we need to do. So we need to try to be expert in what we do, but expert in our devotional service, so that we take our devotional life seriously and not just fumble along, but try to actually be expert to follow the principles that are there. But I could pick up some questions from here, because some of these tend to be overlapping in their mood, but they are for us to meditate on, because why are there different, almost the same words, like being meek, being humble, being mild, being peaceful. I mean, we have to think about what are the differences there, and perhaps even refer back to the original Bengali. Listed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is this taken directly from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Praneshri Diri? No, I'm lip reading just now. I'm lip reading. We cannot hear you.
No, from a page from ISKCON, Maharaj.
Okay, good enough, good enough. Hare Krishna. Oh, well. Praneshri, I'm going to have a question for Praneshri afterwards, because she's done something that I can't do. Oh no, she hasn't done something I can't do. I mean, sure, she's done lots of things I can't do. But anyhow, no, I thought you'd done something. And Praneshri, to everyone, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank of wood in your own eye? From Matthew. Okay, there we are. And by the way, just now, Rupanugu reading this to us, and I have read to Gurudev, Govinda Maharaj, in the little house behind what is now Ramadam in Navadip. There's a small house there, which now has 2 stories. It's been developed, luxury. It was 1 story, and now, I mean, just a bungalow has another story. And there we used to meet with Gurudev long time ago in Guru Maharaj, the time of Guru Maharaj. And there I read, by Gurudev's request, I read to Gurudev Solomon's songs from the Old Testament of the Bible, because there'd been some discussion again by the devotees coming from the West, and they say, oh yes, but in the Bible they do have some description about like some loving relationship with the Lord, etc. And then the devotees say, well, oh, this is in Solomon's songs. And so by Gurudev's request, and we found the Solomon songs. Remember, this is before the age of computers, and now we can type in, but that time we had to search, find a book, do this, and we found Solomon songs and read that to Gurudev. And I've not read it since, so it's now, almost, it's like 37 years or something since I read it. But Gurudev did refer to Solomon's songs later, and that in the Bible there is some mention of the personality, the personality of God and the loving relationship of the soul, some indication of the Goloka Vrindavan and the relationships there. So that also and remembering very happy days there. Gurudev always was very simple at heart. And later on, when he kind of accepted more, you can say, luxurious things, even then, especially compared, with the ordinary life in the Western world, you can say, then Gurudev's luxuries were minimum. But he was very simple nature, always very simple natured. And he appreciated the Solomon songs. They look at that. Hare Krishna. And by the way, very presentably, Sri Lekha Devidasi, also Srila Prabhupada's disciple, and with the grace of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, she from not San Jose, from Utah, Salt Lake City, every day at 8 a.m. Salt Lake City time. Is that correct? Let me just take a look. But on Facebook, she reads from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and she reads in a lively way, means she's reading and she's just giving some life experience from her extensive life there. Yes, it's 8 a.m. Salt Lake City, which is in Utah, in America. So 8 a.m. Salt Lake City time, then she reads every day, I think every day, from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And it is very presentable, and I can definitely, we're happy to say, when we can recommend, you can hear from here, hear from there, you'll get it, you'll get the proper conception. And there you will get very good reading from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. She's quite a long way through it at the present time. But it's good to read with devotees and to hear from devotees in the reading. So I can recommend you that. And how to find it? Facebook, and it is under, okay, oh, that brings me to Facebook. Jagamohini Devi on Facebook. We have several devotees, and I do have Facebook open, but I'm looking here and not here. So Jagamohini Devi Dasi. Always wonderful to just remember your name and to remember you all the while. So Jagamohini Devidasi, Nirupama Devidasi, likewise, and Madhava Prabhu, and Gabriel. I think this is maybe, oh, help me out, somebody.
Gaurangi.
Gaurangi, oh, Gaurangi, oh, wonderful. Very happy to have you with us. And she's given us a Hari Hari in the message on Facebook as well. Jai Gaurangi Didi. I hope everything is going okay with you and with each of you, of course. And Madhava, Michael Madhava Prabhu, a regular attendee, happily with us. So Dandavat to each of you and to those who I can't see on Facebook. But here on Facebook, let me just have a quick look. And I think, oh, it's called S. So on Facebook, you can see the recorded version, but you can also see live every day at 8 a.m. On SCS Mission, all one word, SCS Mission.
You have it in the chat, Maharaj.
Oh, Praneshwari, now here, Rupa Nugaru is an example of be expert. Okay, so here's an example. So there we are. There's a Facebook page, SCS Mission. And she also reads after that from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So another good source to go to for hearing Hare Katha and hearing the books in association with the devotees.
And Maharaj, I have to say that they have a Bhagavad Gita class once a week, and they have been doing this for 15 years in a row. They go to the last chapter and then they start again on chapter 1. They go to the last chapter and they start again from chapter 1 for 15 years in a row. Bhagavad Gita class.
So how to find it?
Oh, they are SES Mission. Everything is there. because when
And
they
what days are the classes, the Bhagavad Gita class?
Wednesdays evening.
Okay.
But 15 years in a row, it's wonderful, wonderful. And all of them participate.
Jai.
All of them. Yes, it's very beautiful.
And are commoners allowed? if we're not a Salt Lake Cityan.
They stopped doing the Zoom sessions, so they are recording directly to the Facebook page.
Okay, all right. So Wednesdays at what time did you say?
It was at 7 p.m. Salt Lake City time.
7 p.m. Salt Lake City. Okay. Now you see, I've shared something with you and you shared something with me. A good place to go.
It's exchange of gifts this Christmas.
Yes, I was thinking exact same thing. Exchanging gifts at Christmas time. Yes, Paramanandru.
Something I remembered from a discussion, it was an informal discussion of myself, Srila Shava Prabhu, Vaishnava Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev. And Srila Shava Prabhu was quoting Matthew again, and those famous sayings of Jesus Christ when he says, "Do not cast your pearls before the swine, do not give the dog what is sacred." And then Srila Gurudev used that to glorify the supreme position of the Karuna Avatar Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, Jesus Christ, he came to save the world. Whatever, the world was at that moment. He has particular mission to do that. But Mahaprabhu, he did not restrain from casting the pearls before the swine or giving the dogs what is sacred, referring that he's reaching to the lowest parts of this world, the Mlechkadesh, the lowest parts of the Mlechkadesh. That is extended, and I'm speaking for myself. Really, I can easily be that swine. I actually probably, less qualified than the swine Jesus Christ is talking about, or the dog that is giving something that is sacred. But by the grace of Mahaprabhu in Nityananda, that was extended to me. So how wonderful is Mahaprabhu in Nityananda. So Gurudev twisted it another way, using this saying to glorify the supreme position of Mahavadanyaya Avatar. And how fortunate we are in this particular moment, particular time frame. And really, like daily, I'm thinking of that. And I'm thinking, how can I realize at least a fragment, a drop of my fortune? Because that will help a lot. Developing love and affection as a foundation that whatever we do, the Buddha said, whatever we do, we must do with love and affection. You can't fake it. You have to have genuine feeling from that. But that feeling must come from that appreciation, understanding, appreciating your good fortune, what the Vaishnava did for you, what the messenger from that world, inconceivable, divine, beautiful, filled with love, the messenger of that nectar ocean, that we are supposedly the children of. They're coming to remind us about that, to the lowest part of the hell. And sometimes, as we know, sometimes she'll say, there are places in this world that are more low and more horrible than the hell that is conceived in the traditional way, the kingdom of Yamaraj, where he is punishing the sinners. And there, Mahaprabhu's message is extended, and hope is extended, and the salvation is given. So something I remembered.
Jai, and that's from the personal conversation, personal reflections of Srila Gurudev. And Srila Prabhupada, by the way, gives a very powerful, everything's very powerful, I know, but still very prominent, very standing out purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Vasudeva is coming to Mahaprabhu and praying to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, please, you give all the sin of all the people to me, but please relieve them from this world. Take them home. And then in the purport, then Srila Prabhupada, he gives some like wonderful glorification and saying everybody knows how glorious is Jesus and his surrender and his what he did for the people. And Vasudeva Datta, he is more glorious in saying how many millions of times, I think he even says millions of times, because he said from glorious and then millions of times glorious, because Jesus, he was giving relief to the faithful, but Vasudeva to everybody, faithful, non-faithful, offender, all departments, and he wants to give this relief. So in this way, we see glories, more glorious, most glorious. And then maha glorious, or whatever the words are going to be. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said to Vasudeva Datta, and you don't have to take the sin of these people. By your desire, then now the whole of the universe is relieved. This universe will be emptied. This prison house will be opened and everyone released by your desire. And you won't have to go to hell for more or less eternity for the sins of all these people. So then Mahaprabhu, you see, giving that next thing. Okay, you are giving this, you will take this in, but you don't have to do that. So by your wish, the Vaishnava's wish. So wonderful things for our inspiration and to remind ourselves the current of super mercy, which somehow we've come to the shore of. And so we should not hesitate to jump into that current and get taken away.
Vrindavan Das Thakur, his famous statement that Mahaprabhu inundated the whole universe with Krishna Prema. He brought an ocean of Krishna Prema, and the devotees were diving, but non-believers were floating. But nevertheless, everyone was affected. And then Prabodhananda Saraswati, he points out, Avatirne Gaura Chandre Vistirna Prema Sagare. Mahaprabhu brought this ocean of Prema into this world. Suprakashita Ratnoge Yudina Dina Evasa. He said, those who does not dive deep into that ocean and collect those gems deposited by Mahaprabhu, they are the poorest of the poor.
So let us share with the poor the treasure that has come floating to us. Hare Krishna. And I know Seva Rupa Devirasya wants to say something. I can see it in your face. But I may be wrong. Seva Rupa.
I'm just enjoying the class and yes, taking so much nectar from it. It's beautiful and I love the questions and all the sharing. And maybe I'll share one thing from yesterday's class that you gave, Maharaj. This Kayla drew about the oven that you're
talking
about.
You found the oven that we use in Navadip. Okay, I just need to make my screen, just show it one more time. I just need to make my screen bigger. Did you draw that?
No, this was Kayla.
Oh, Kayla. Well, that's pretty good because that's it's the Indian oven that the devotees found. A metal box inside a metal box with a gap between and the fire underneath, and that heat goes around that metal box and out of the top. And that was an oven, very simple oven that the devotees found that they could put on top of the wood and coal fire, little stoves they use in India, in order to make a Christmas cake. This was to make a Christmas cake for Guru Maharaj. This is Guru Maharaj's time where they made that. They found this and made the cake. Jai, thank you. Well done, Kaila. She's a good illustrator.
Yes. So she was listening yesterday.
Yeah. I thought you were showing something you found on the internet, but more than that, you found it from the hand of your daughter. Jai. And by the way, that was referring to, how the traditions traditions die hard, or we've got, happy traditions, the traditions of our, cultures. And so the Western devotees in Navadip in India, they want to make a Christmas cake. But, all the cooking is just on the cow dung fire, the wood fire, the coal fire. And so there are no ovens and other things that you need. But the devotees found this very simple oven in somewhere in Navadip, maybe in Calcutta. I'm not sure where they found it. And then they did successfully make a good Christmas cake and offered to Guru Maharaj, offered to Gurudev. And actually, yesterday I said they offered to the deities. I don't know, because sometimes Guru Maharaj and Gurudev would accept some things themselves, but maybe didn't offer to the deities, because especially that time, then they're quite strict for what is offered to the deities in Navadip. The deities do have some regulations, especially the Shalagram Shila. There is some specific rule and regulation, which is why we Westerners are not allowed in the kitchen in Navadip. Look, Sevarupa is showing the picture again. India's, okay, I need to just make that bigger. Can we spotlight it? Spotlight for everyone. India's first oven. Wow. We can say maybe Navadip's first oven. I expect in the cities, some people who've got, regular ovens, but Navadip, well, Navadip is not part of India. There we are, one of the offenses of the holy name, of offenses to the holy name. So maybe Navadip's first oven. And you may say, oh no, they had cakes in the time of Mahaprabhu. But when there's a description of the preparations made at the feasts, the descriptions come, different occasions in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then when it says cakes, it's not like cakes, it's more like dokla. And maybe Paramananda or some of you can say, how dokla is made, but it's not made in an oven. They're made in some other way. So it's not like Christmas cakes. It's other traditional Indian cakes. Or maybe Sevarupa knows. You know how to make dokla?
I think my granny used to make that. It's a steamed dish. I think it's steamed.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. But I can't give a firm yes. But it's not in an oven. But I think maybe steamed, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, dear devotees. Merry Christmas for those of you who are still in Christmas Day. And always first, let us be grateful for the upbringing that we've had, those of us who've come from a Christian background, and that we've got some God consciousness, some praying encouragement, and some understanding of surrender, humility, whatever has seeped into us. But all this has become so much clear and realistic and practical for us through Bhagavad Gita, through Srila Prabhupada, through Srila Guru Maharaj, through Srila Gurudev. So again, thanking our lucky stars, we've come in the development of God consciousness, from general and from hazy to specific and wonderful, coming to this present age, the age of Nitai and Gauranga's extreme mercy to the world, to take from the most fallen to the most topmost place. So to all of you, Ekadashi joined us also. Ekadashi is back in Tomsk after being in Uzunja with the devotees there. She's back in Tomsk. And anyone else joined us in the meantime? If I missed anyone, oh, Rupa Vilas Prabhu is there. Humbly, quietly, when we read these 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, then we can think also of Rupa Vilas Prabhu in those I pointed out of being mild, meek, respectful, humble, compassionate, friendly, silent. Jai Rupa Vilas Prabhu. To all of you, happy to have your association, happy in the sense of we are all nourished to have each other's association, to be together. And may our not just 1 day or 2 days of our lives, but may our whole life be Krishna-centered, God-centered, and make our life successful. Jai Shila Gurudev, Shila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gos. Oh, a hand from Rupa Vilas. Yes, Prabhu. A quick hand.
Allow me to use this most fortunate day and time to offer my respectful obeisances to each and one of you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Every day is like a festival. I'm already full. What you have told us is like a palatable dishes on the table, and everyone is nourishing. I'm already full and I cannot speak anymore. Dandamat to all of you. Dandamat.
Jai Rupa Vilas Prabhu ki Jai. Guru Maharaj is sincere, sweet disciple from a long time ago. So happy to have you with us, Prabhu. And happy to have each of you with us, young and old in devotional life, and to all those who will be seeing the recorded version, to those of us who are live now and on the Facebook, and in any other way that you're with us, we're all happily together. So wishing you successful Seva days until we meet again soon. And let us all chant Hare Krishna. And something else we have to do. Oh, be happy. Jai Shila Gurudev, Shila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shila Guru Maharaj, Shila Bhakti Rokha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shila Bhagavan Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. Nama Acharya Shila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. And Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Paramanand ki Jai. Kum Devi Rasi ki Jai. All of our senior, junior, and all devotee section, our dear guests, and Varun Nahush, our regular attendee. Oh, Rukmini is with us. Rukmini Devi Rasi. Also our obeisances to you, Rukmini Devi. Happy to have you with us, and each and everyone, Gaurangi, and all of the devotees on Facebook too.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol. Vachakalpatarubyas cha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ami Ashchi. I'm coming.
Thank you so much,
I
Maharaj.
can leave you all together to party, but I need to continue.